We saw how a toilet facility meant for persons living with disability has not even been completed under the IPEP program. Coastal Development Authority is still there. They have chopped the money. We also saw how many months down the line, they have not gone back to attend to their needs. Now suddenly, out with them a magical wand, we're opening the borders, activating the borders, without even talking to the countries that are joining who will use our borders too. So yes, we're cutting their noses to spite their faces. And it's sad. It's sad because when it happened in Apiati, you saw the the president was there, vice president was there, minister for lands and natural resources was there. When it happened in the Volta region, who went there?
We didn't see
Nobody went there. And up until now, the people are just asking for a holding center that has a kitchen, that has a toilet, that has bathrooms that they can use. Open defecation is on the rise in the Volta region, around those areas. So we just don't care about them. Move to Asamansudo in the Western region. Look at what's happening. And we always pay lip service to it. The president held a State of the Nation address in fulfillment of Article 67 of the Constitution.
Just last
He
week.
didn't breathe a word about these things. He only spoke about the fact that we are trying to get sea defense wall along the coastal area. But sea defense wall, sebi yedi. The people's lives have been affected. Their buildings have been washed away. People's villages have been eaten away by the sea. There's no hope for them. And we're talking about sea defense wall. In the meantime, there's a sea defense wall that's happening in the Volta region that has been stalled. The people in Pram Pram, the people in Adan, Sege, what hope is there for them? So I think that leadership doesn't really care about, they don't care about the people. They only go there to go and campaign. We find ballot boxes and machines to go and take there for the people to vote. And then after the voting, get off. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's so unfair. And this morning, there are people in government who have extra houses that they don't even sleep in.
And there are people who are also
There
homeless.
are people who are homeless, jobless, hopeless. So what is this? Look at how long this Ketu started. It happened in May or March. Then it happened again in November. Who has gone there? Nobody has gone there. And there are thousands of people who have been affected, over 4,000 people. Did we care about them? We took supplies to them. What was NUGS' response to their plight?
Why a few mattresses.
Why do we do that to our people? Why do we do that to our people? And it fits into the narrative of, oh, they didn't vote for me, so I will not look at them. But we went to Apiati. What is all this?
Quite disturbing, very disturbing. And that's why I, for one, Johnnie, I'm sure you have intel on ground, especially at what ensued this weekend at the NUGS election.
Right.
Now, so for all these things that you're talking about, it just looks like everything must be on partisan basis in our country. Now, when you take NUGS, what does this stand for? National Union of Ghana Students.
Right.
So it's not MPP, it's not NDC. We are supposed to be Ghana students. And I remember when the universities were on strike, we went to Legon, and when Bella tried to engage the executives of TAIN and TESCON and NUGS as well, almost everybody was singing the same song, that the way NUGS had been silent over the whole strike and everything that was going on didn't make sense. So then when ahead of the elections, because when they were saying all that, I thought that, okay, maybe it could be a problem with leadership at the top. Is that what's going on? So when I heard that there was going to be fresh elections, I was really hoping that this whole issue or this whole challenge of staying silent on matters that really, really pertain to students would end. But to actually sit back and look and watch how elections were conducted at this level this weekend disturbs me a whole lot. To the point where we have two separate executives now. So there are executives for the NDC side and there are executives for the MPP side. And we actually almost saw what happened in Ayawaso West Wogon, replicating itself at common NUGS elections. And I'm thinking these are student bodies who must come together and talk about accommodation issues and talk about congestion in our universities and even talk about national service allowances that do not even come. And all of a sudden, we are doing partisanship even at this level. So then these are people who are going to grow up to represent us at the top. So already, if it's partisan, then what are we doing?
See, I've been part of NUGS. In fact, I started from the Greater Accra Regional SRC. And then I drafted into Ghana Union of Professional Students and then NUGS eventually. I've served at the highest level of NUGS, the Central Committee. I've been part of the Central Committee of NUGS before. I'm sorry, but NUGS has become a joke now.
I guess that's the best way you could describe it.
During our days as NUGS, when we spoke, government shook. When we spoke, NUGS as NUGS, government shook. The days of Ukudjetwa Blakwa, Nodom Prayer, you know,
and quite a number of Haruna Idrisu, Omanebuama, Dr. Takenedi,
what do you call it?
Yes,
Damboche,
exactly.
all of them.
And even Honorable Apenyomake, he was also a leader.
Yes.
Yeah.
During those days, when NUGS speaks, the government of the day shakes.
But now
they tremble. They call us into a conclave and ask us, what do you want? They shake. We talk about fuel prices. They shake. They call us. Now they have become political ping pong. And it's sad. It's sad
Very
because
sad.
even back then, you knew where people belonged. You know, this one was NDC, this one was MPP. I contributed heavily to the election of Deputy Minister for Information, Fatih Abubakar's election as Women's Commissioner. We're writing articles and the rest for her. Wanda Madilo as NUGS president. We're writing stuff for him. I can give you off the cup, Bombasin, name them. So when you look at NUGS now and then NUGS then, you knew where whoever belonged. Fatih was MPP right from the get-go. I supported her. Wanda was NDC right from the get-go. I supported her. I mean, when you see a material, Peter Tokuno, Dr. Peter Tokuno of the NDC, right from the get-go, you can tell, but you will support a good cause. Today, NUGS has become a joke, and right from the onset or at the outset, people have suddenly decided not to chase the student cause, but they are taking their political path.
It's amazing.
And it's a shame. Even though people belong to different
amazing.
factions back then, when it comes to issues
You
of
could see
students,
the unity.
they are unified.
But now that's
Today,
not what we
it's not the
see.
case. And this is not the first time we're having NPP, NUGS executives, NDC NUGS. In the previous administration, it was there. I think about 6 or 7 administration back. You know, it's been like that. And I don't get it. Why would you have such a situation? You can have an executive or maybe 10 executives and decide to have some MPP, some NDC members. I don't care. But where political parties actually influence and bring money and try to coordinate it, it's so embarrassing. So now, which one of them would
Johnnie,
Parliament listen to?
To even have national security operatives on ground.
Are you kidding me?
National security. Are you serious? And elections do not start until 1 p.m. 1 p.m. only for it to be conducted for everyone to say that, no, these elections were not credible. So at this level, elections cannot be credible. So what are you going to grow into, or what are you going to become? I really though, it's
okay. So
yeah,
this is the NPP.
Yes, exactly. So
president.
Emmanuel Boakye-Adom is his name.
Okay.
He was the one who became.
And then there's a Chiahene who is also the NDC president. Shameful.
So that's what we are seeing right now.
It's shameful.
Yeah.
And you know, during my days, would usually have the Electoral Commission come to conduct the election. I don't know if the Electoral Commission was involved in any way, but if they were involved and this rubbish happened, they should also bow down their head in shame, because you would usually bring the Electoral Commission to come and supervise.
Yeah.
And the Electoral Commission will look at the figures and then they will endorse. So the Electoral Commission this morning should be able to tell us that, okay, when we came for the election to supervise, Mr. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H won the elections. And those are the legitimate executive of the National Union of Ghana Students. it should not be the case where there's confusion. The Electoral Commission, if they were involved, sits back and they are work. It's embarrassing.
This was shameful.
Are you kidding me?
And I'm wondering. So what did the national security have to do with this? I don't understand.
You see,
what were the operatives doing there?
So you have a government in power who has an interest because
who becomes NUGS president.
Thank you. And it's always been the case, really. So you can date back and look at all the NUGS presidents, NUGS coordinating secretaries, NUGS general secretaries, NUGS finance, whatever. Look at all the programs and projects. Look at all those people. And you can tell after NUGS, they use it as a launch pad. So those who don't become assemblymen,
for their political career,
assemblymen, DCs, later MPs or ministers, they use the NUGS and the student leadership platforms.
No way.
And then they come through.
No way.
So they use that, and because they call it student activism or student politics, they use that as a launch pad to come into the mainline politics. What they're doing now is shameful. So they are not defending the interests of students. They're just there for themselves.
For their own selfish interests.
It's sad.
Very sad.
Now, when NUGS speaks, government
Very
laughs.
sad. Very, very
Government
sad.
laughs at them because your accommodation is not sorted at the universities. When you speak, government laughs at you.
Disbursement of loans is a major challenge. And you're not looking at all these things and you're looking at your own selfish political aspirations.
When government told them that now student loan, you don't need a guarantor, you just need your Ghana card, blah, 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 whatever it is. Has it been actualized?
It hasn't been.
Government told you that we are bringing more students from secondary school to come and add on to those at university. They have not improved our infrastructure. You're watching.
This is such a shame.
Your amenities, basic things, they have not been done. You are watching and you are rather fighting over positions. Shame on you.
This is a shame. This is a shame. I know Johnnie
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If this is the NUGS that we left behind, if this is it,
this one is a no-no.
It's shameful.
It's a no-no.
This is not the NUGS. So people have gone through NUGS and have turned out to be very well baked individuals. People have gone through NUGS. You can't be doing this. People have gone through NUGS. I mean, NUGS has shaped many people. National Union of Ghana students. I say when we speak, government shakes. When NUGS says we are going on a demonstration, how many times have you seen NUGS go on a demonstration in recent times? Fuel prices, K prices, pure water prices.
They didn't.
They won't go anywhere because they are all in the pockets of politicians.
And even recently, with what happened with all the universities, who went on demonstration? It was a coalition of something students.
Right.
It wasn't even NUGS.
No, it wasn't.
What was it? I think it was the coalition of concerned
students.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
They were the people who went on demonstration when the universities went on strike. It wasn't even NUGS. And when we went on campus, everybody was complaining. Yes, coalition of concerned students. They went on that demonstration. Anyway, we can go on and on and on.
Well, so you can clearly tell that this man in the Batakari has been sponsored by somebody in the NPP or some people in the NPP. Sponsored by some people in the NDC. And it's sad because the interest of students and it transcends to the various SRCs. Because the political parties, for some special reason, believe that once we get a person there, then we can influence decisions and we can influence implementation of policies, blah, blah, blah. You don't do that.
Very sad.
You don't polarize everything. There are things you don't polarize. In the interest of students. And if you're a student leader and you allow yourself to be bought and put in a certain corner, shame on you. Shame on you, pa. Shame on you. That you have even security personnel.
Can you imagine?
Come to a student election.
Can you imagine?
To do what?
And
I have seen that before where people were whipped.
Are you joking?
Yes, I'm not kidding you. Sunyani, people were whipped. I mean, I started going for NUGS congresses back in secondary school because at secondary school, at that level, you would sometimes have an opportunity to go and go and watch what NUGS elections look like, their congresses and all of that. So we had opportunity to go and see those right from SHS2. So you had to go and see SSS2, we called it, to have to go and see that. And you see people being whipped because they are not aligning. I mean, the days where you used to have vetting deep into the night, 1 a.m., 2 a.m.
Just to get the best of
just
the
to
best.
get the, it's, and you hear the manifestos being read, you hear people being vetted, you're part of the process, you enjoyed it. Now it's become a charade, it's a joke.
Vigilante groups.
Joke.
Bombarding the elections.
Top-notch joke.
National security operatives. I don't know.
Chris
I was
Rock and
told
Will Smith
that
joke.
Double. I was told that Double, the famous Double,
was there.
Ayawaso West Wogon. That's what I'm told. Is it true that Double was on grounds that day? Anyway,
Doing what exactly?
that's the question.
When Emil Short committee
That's the
commission
question.
says decommission him.
That's the
He's
question.
still roaming around.
Yes, so that's what we've been
And
told.
the President
Is it true?
Akufo-Addo, who is a human rights lawyer,
Is it true that he was
there's
there?
a white paper on their head. President Akufo-Addo, good morning to you. This is your best birthday present.